Alito Chimichuma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. We got a really interesting one for you guys today, but before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and ring that notification bell as well. So whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first ones to grab them. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, family. Let's get all into the news here. This is coming from CBS News, local news. Karmelo Anthony's bond reduced, granted house arrest in fatal Frisco stabbing case. It says here that the 17-year-old charged with first-degree murder in the fatal stabbing of a teen at a Frisco track meet earlier this month has had his bond reduced and will now be on house arrest following a judge's ruling Monday. You notice how they say he's just charged with first-degree murder, but they're not mentioning anything about self-defense. You have to watch these mainstream news channels and just media, period. You'll know whether they call themselves biased or unbiased. You kind of know where the overall scheme of things as we're going. And I'll go deeper into that as we move a little further. But let's run through this. I'm not going to stop too long. All right. A Collin County judge agreed to lower Karmelo Anthony's bond for $1 million to $250,000. Anthony will also be required to wear an ankle monitor and to stay inside his parents' home if they can post bond. In which we know they did. Anthony has been in the Collin County jail since his April 2nd arrest for allegedly stabbing and killing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. And I like how they put allegedly there. At a Frisco ISD track meet. According to witness statements, Anthony and Metcalf were involved in a verbal dispute, and at one point, Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest. Yeah, the verbal got physical. Let's not forget. Even have eyewitnesses, you feel me, that let you know. And I showed you in my last video, they let you know that not just one, but both of those men put hands on that young man. All right? Anyway, let's keep going. Anthony complied with officers at the scene and was taken into custody. While in the police vehicle, Anthony reportedly asked the officer if Metcalf was going to be okay and if what he did would be considered self-defense. So he had to bring up self-defense. And shout out to the parents again of this young brother for making sure that he knows what self-defense is, knows how to protect himself, knows how to handle a situation and read a room, because nobody knows how that would have went down. That's just between him and the ones that were involved. Only he knew what the outcome was going to be. And through his certain uncertainty, he did what he had to do. But he also knew in his right mind. Like I said in my last video, it's not like he blacked out. It's not like he's saying he blacked out or he's mentally ill or anything like that. He's not claiming none of those things that some other folks, a lot of other folks, that usually be they go to when they've done something that's blatant, clear, and intent. But this brother only stabbed him one time in the chest. One time. He didn't repeatedly stab him. He just got him one time in the chest. And that was enough to basically do the job. Yet, at the same time, he walked away with his life, and he did not, I'm sure, in his mind, He did not want to take a life. He just wanted to get them off of him. He just wanted to get home. And this is a long way home. But he's finally here. But let's keep on reading. I'm sorry. Since his arrest, Anthony's family hired defense attorneys Billy Clark and Kim Cole, who promptly requested that Anthony's bond be reduced. Karmelo Anthony's bond reduction hearing. During the hearing on Monday, Anthony's defense attorney questioned the teen's father about his character. His father testified that Anthony was an A student, the captain of both his football and track teams. Anthony's father also told the court that he's the sole provider of their family and couldn't afford the $1 million bond amount. So you have a father and a son. Shout out again to the parents of Karmelo Anthony. Ever present. Ever present. Providers, protectors. You know how many of our young men get left to the wolves? Just think about that. He has a mother and a father. It just shows you right there. You can't claim, oh, this is fatherless behavior. Oh, this is, he must not have a father in the home. Why he would do something. He did something like this because any other rational man would. As a man, you will do what you have to do to protect yourself, to make sure that you come out alive. His father taught him well. His father is a living example for his son. And I appreciate that. I truly do. From one father to another. And he's being 100 with him. He's letting them know. Hey, I'm the sole provider here. You know what I mean? And I can't afford $1 million. But he basically got all this positive life ahead of him. Why hold him? Man, let's keep reading. Prosecutors who only submitted the police report and no witnesses also questioned Anthony's father during the hearing. They asked about a separate assault involving Anthony on February 4th, which was handled internally by Frisco ISD. So that was already handled. Prosecutors also questioned why Anthony's family hadn't used the money donated through a fundraising account for his son's bond. And they answered, "We don't have access to the money," Anthony's father responded. So now people are thinking that the GoFundMe money or the fundraising money that they got, they didn't even use that. They didn't even use that money. They don't have access to that money. So this family came together. The narratives about our people, the negative tropes, we not all doing bad out here. And that's a beautiful thing to see when a Niji family, an Aboriginal copper-colored indigenous family, an American Indian family can come together in the midst of adversity and handle business. Stand on business and handle business. Man. So they don't have access to the money, Anthony's father responded. Defense attorney argued that the $412,000 raised in the online account is not a bond fund. Remember, the GoFundMe, they would have had more money than that, I'm sure. But the GoFundMe that they had supposedly got shut down. I'm hearing from different sources. It supposedly got shut down. And it was due to he's in a criminal case or whatever. He got a case, so he can't use that money, or he can't raise money because he got a case. So then they went to another fundraising account, and they still got enough money. It would have been enough money for the bail. It would have been enough money. The community, our copper-colored Aborigine community, our American Indian community. We are affiliated by community. We as a community came together, and we took care of this. We took care of this business. We looked out for our little brother, for our nephew. So hey, shout out to the shout out to the Oklahoma. Shout out to my people. You hear me? Shout out to the Nijis out there. The ones who know who they are. And the ones who know what time it is. Shout out to all of us who came together. Giving positive energy and everything their way. Shout out to all of us as a community, as a unit, as one, as a people, because we did that. And it ain't over. It ain't over. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage you all to continue to just lend positive energy in any way, whether it be fundraising or, just sending positive energy. We are a mystical people. We are a supernatural people. Send that energy their way, because the ancestors are working. The divine forces are working. The Wakan, the energy of our people, the balance, the force of everything around us. It's the reason why we indigenous here. It's the reason why things work out the way they work out. When we on one accord and we put our energy towards anything, everything is possible. You feel me? So Anyway. During closing arguments, defense attorneys told the judge maintaining the $1 million bond would be unusual, considering Anthony's lack of criminal history. They asked the judge to reduce the bond to $150,000 for Anthony and require him to wear an ankle monitor. Prosecutors asked that the $1 million bond remain in place. These guys, telling the judge that the amount is standard for murder cases in Collin County. Although these are teenagers, and this was just one incident, that man has no criminal history. The man is a stand-up modern citizen, model citizen. They still want him to be on that $1 million bond after they heard the father say that he could, as a sole provider, he couldn't afford that. Who really could afford that? So, man, this is when I say we are all we got, we are all we got. just like these other communities stand up for their own. And let's not act like all communities except us do. Let's not even act like that. But the few that we do see out here that are standing up for their own and helping their own out. Not gonna say no names. But the way that they do it, if they can do it, you know we can do it. This is our land. This is our turf. You feel me? So let's continue to move forward. The judge ultimately ruled that the bond be lowered to $250,000, and if Anthony's family were to bond him out of jail, Anthony would be required to stay at his parents' house and wear an ankle monitor. The judge said if Anthony violated that rule, he would be returned to jail. But as we can see, as what we heard about from his father, his upbringing, his citizenship out here, as far as like what he does, his integrity and everything in the community, being a captain of both his track team and his football team, he naturally is in a position of leadership. His parents have shown him how to be a standard modern citizen in his community, for somebody to have, to be influential in his community. And he's already influential amongst all of his peers. So what makes you think that he would even think about, breaking this rule? But, he, despite everything that they were throwing at him, as far as, hey, this is a murder case, this guy, murder. And I'll show you these different article titles, man. It's nuts. Like, they really try to paint him out to be a terrible person. And that's not even the case. The man was just defending himself. But, yeah. Being that he's a leader, he's somebody that people look to as an example. He's an ambassador of his peers, an A student. All the man needs is an opportunity. No criminal activity. All the man needs is just an opportunity. And I really appreciate this judge that came through, because had it have been one that was unreasonable, and we've had, as a people, we've had plenty, and some can even, ones of us can even testify from firsthand experience, have had judges or those that are an authority figure that just were not, they were not unbiased in any kind of way. They already had their prejudgment on us just being who we are, having a prejudgment and a notion on us, and judged or made a decision, executive decision, accordingly to what they already felt. So, sorry about that. What we're going to do is pause for the cause, and we're going to go ahead and close this out. Real quick, y'all, I just wanted to show you some of those articles. All I typed in was Karmelo Anthony automobile, and then you have these right here. Released on bond and slaying of Austin Metcalf, murdering a white kid. Accused Karmelo Anthony's release on bond in Texas stabbing case angers MAGA. Frisco stabbing suspect. Teen suspect released after bond reduced significantly and more conditions added. But yeah, fatally stabbing another at a track meet. it goes on and on. So, but they're doing their best to make it seem like, hey, this is just unaliving in cold blood. Like he just straight up, But don't be swayed by these different kind of titles and stuff. Really do your research. Go into it, read for yourself. If I had more time, or if this was like a law channel or something, I would go into I would be following the case and going into it and stuff. But we just gonna leave it in the hands of the universe, in the hands of the ancestors, in the hands of Wakanda, the energy, the balancing energy that guides and balances all things in life. We know the actions, and we know that balance must be made. So we gonna trust in that and continue to put that positive energy out there, as we know in our hearts. Our young brother was doing nothing more than protecting himself. So before we close out, and I know I said we are, I'm gonna show you the judge that showed no partiality and made a more than reasonable judgment. Okay, so let's pause for the cause one more time, and we gonna see this judge. Alrighty, y'all. This is Judge Angela, I believe. Angela Tucker. Let me double check here. I want to be correct. Hold on. And we're back. Yes, Angela Tucker. Judge Angela Tucker. We truly appreciate Judge Angela Tucker for being that sound, the one of sound mind, and let's send positive energy, use shout outs and positive energy her way. May the ancestors continue to guide her as well, because man, they're coming after her. They're blasting her, putting her, out and dragging her out on X and I guess wherever else, you can find it. You have ones out there that are really angry at her for making a sound decision, you know what I mean? Just it's nuts. It's nuts, man. But the persecution and the criticism, and it never goes away. It never goes away. You know why? Because they know who we are, and they don't think that we deserve to have a fair shot here, because they know what the fields are leveled. We're going to dominate every time. We show it in their sports, and I'm sure Karmelo Anthony can run circles against those Metcalf boys. Not only on the field, but in the classroom too. And in life in general. But let's not get into, I don't want to talk bad about nobody. But it's a lot being said about our people. So one can't help but to be proud. You feel me? Be proud that for once the public crucifixion is not going the way that they expect it to. And that times are actually changing. Be proud of that. Be proud that you're a part of it. And in that pride, continue to hold yourself accountable and be responsible for all the actions that you make. Okay? Again, shout out to the Anthony family. May they continue to heal during this time. Shout out to Miss Angela Tucker for being of a sound mind and making a sound decision in the midst of this chaos. And again, shout out to Oklahoma. Shout out to my people. Shout out to the Nijis, copper-colored Aborigines, for coming together as a people. Despite, some of our ones that, trying to be in proximity of something else and apparently got their own feelings and stuff about what's going on, instead of taking this as a time to unite and come together, to show that we actually do have community, that we do have organization, that we do have camaraderie amongst one another. Instead of wanting to be a part of that, they decide to, due to whatever they feeling or however they were, however they get down, they decide to go against the grain. And, I get it, all about being a maverick and stuff, but then when you're doing it just to get likes and views, or doing it to get pats on the head from those who look different from you, that you feel that you may want to be equal, that you desire to be equal in their eyes, but secretly and even publicly, they let you know every time that you're not. And it's not that they're better than you, it's just a simple fact that they not us. They not like us. We not like them. We are different. And when put to the test, we do come out on top. I can just say, this is an example, and I'll leave it there. This is Chief Steve signing off. Tata Kista, I cherish you all. Y'all continue to take care of yourselves out there. Stay safe. Continue to be vigilant. Stay alert. Stay aware. Stay alive. Continue to thrive. All right? Because the times are the times, baby. And we here. We been here. We still here and we ain't going nowhere. Yakoki, thank you. We'll see you next time.